Good evening, members. A very warm welcome once again from Team Training and Education of ISLA. After a short break, we have again started our Gyan Ganga series. Today we are conducting 47th webinar in Gyan Ganga series. Our today's topic is Marine Come Erection Policy Part 2. And today's our speaker is Mr. KB Manchanda. We are just waiting for few more participants are joining. We will start within next 30 seconds. Members, we welcome your suggestions for betterment of this program. We also invite the faculties to conduct the different topic in the various streams like motor, marine fire, marine cargo. So you are requested to send your topic along with the presentation on training@isla.net. We also welcome the suggestions, and we are trying to upload the calendar for next 1 month about this webinar on our website. We are also
Sajjan sir, I am Suresh. Audible here?
Yes, Mr. Suresh.
Sir. Sir, I have designed the calendar till 31st December, sir.
Right.
Right. It's it starts every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Designed excluding all the holidays like Dasara and Diwali.
Right.
Care has been taken to not to have sessions on Diwali and Dasara times.
Right.
It is designed and it is already forwarded to CC members also.
Correct.
And my concern is to have a very good session during this period, and already I have forwarded through the website what we Raju sir has sent to a mail accordingly to all the members requesting to join as faculty pool.
Right,
I could get only today one suggestion from Bhuvaneshwar, a chartered accountant by name Sandeep. Somebody, he is willing to impart some training for us, and it would be happy if we can have more contribution from everybody.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Suresh, for updation. Members, now we will start with today's webinar. Today we are conducting 47th webinar on Marine Come Erection Policy Part 2. And today's our faculty is Mr. KB Manchanda. I request Mr. Manchanda ji to start with today's webinar. We have revised our the schedule. Like we will be conducting 45 minutes of the webinar, and last 15 minutes will be reserved for the question and answer.
Training, please.
Yes, Mr. Welcome, Mr. Manchanda ji.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Welcome all the attendees, all the panelists here with me. Today, I'm taking up the second part of this Marine Come Erection Policy. And first of all, I will take you back to part 1, where we have discussed the structure of the policy, its coverage in marine. In marine, it covers ICCA classes, cargo, then war classes and ICC strike classes. Then in erection, all risk are covered, and there are certain endorsements which we discussed, and certain add-on covers and extensions and classes were there, like declaration class, replacement second-hand machinery class, then cutting class was there, pair and test sec class was there, then cancellation class was there, duty insurance was there, waiver of contribution clause, and 72 hours class, 50/50 class, automatic reinstatement clause, which we discussed in our previous session. So here I would really am uh, going to uh, talk about the rest of the things which we left. That was main part was access classes, and another was D3, D4, uh, what you call extensions. Fine. So let us now start with this second part of the marine income erection, and thereafter we will be discussing some cases also under this policy. So now I take you to DE4. This is defective part exclusion, DE4 endorsement, which is attached with the policy. Which this policy excludes loss or damage to the just a minute. Damage to and the cost necessary to replace, repair, or rectify. A. Any component, part, or individual item of the property insured which is defective in design, plant specification, material, or workmanship. So this is the exclusion which is not covered in the policy, but it can be covered only after giving extra premium. But this DE4, it covers it does not cover, it excludes all the damages or the cost which is necessitating to replace or repair or rectify or to reinstate any component, part, or individual item of the property insured which is defective in design, plan, specification, materials, or workmanship. And any of these cars, if it is happening, the loss is not payable. Then here it is part B. It is property insured loss or damage to enable the replacement, repair, or rectification of property insured excluded by A above. Then exclusion A above shall not apply to other parts or items of the property insured which are free from defect but are damaged in the consequence thereof. So here, if loss is occurring because of any defective workmanship or part, whatever, and subsequently it is damaging other property or other parts also uh, as a consequential or consequence thereof, or consequence as consequential loss, those will be paid. But the defective part which had already been fitted won't be paid under this policy. For the purpose of the policy and not merely this exclusion, the property insured shall not be regarded as lost or damaged solely by virtue of the existence of any defect in design, plan, specification, materials, or workmanship in the property insured or any part there. So this is a very important line of the policy. For the purpose of the policy, not merely this exclusion, the property insured shall not be regarded as lost or damaged solely by virtue of the existence of any defect. Means if there is any defect, whenever any mega project is being carried out, there may be some problem in the material, or maybe in the workmanship, or maybe in the design, or whatever. But that doesn't mean that the whole of the project has to be rendered as uninsured, and nothing will be paid for that property which has been insured by this policy. So this is the thing. What we have to see is any defective part which is making a loss happen will be an exclusion, but other parts which are damaged in concurrently or in consequence, maybe later because of the consequence, or concurrently, immediately along with the damages to the main part which is seen as a defective one, then that defective part won't be falling within the ambit of the policy. We have to exclude it, and rest of the loss we have got to pay. So this is what DE4 exclusion is. Now I come to another very important factor, that is excess class. It is for normal period, it is 5% of the claim amount subject to a maximum of 50,000. Fine. So this is for the losses which are occurring in normal course of policy means when the project is being erected or whatever is being constructed or fabricated or whatever. So any loss which is happening, so this is the exclusion access clause which is governing that portion only. For act of God and major perils, it is 10% of the claim amount subject to a minimum of 1.5 lakh rupees. I mean, act of God, as everybody knows, it is STF5, flood, inundation, tornado, or maybe landslide or rock slide, or maybe subsidence of land, whatever the things are. So this is the excess clause which is applicable, and we have to deduct it, whatever is our net assessment. After deduction of this last deduction, we have to offer it to the client. Other deductions may be salvage value, even depreciation if it is affecting any. Then third one is theft and burglary excess clause, that is 25% of the claim amount subject to a minimum of 75,000 rupees. So this is when any theft or burglary that occurs. So here in this case, we don't have to take care of what you say. It should be within enclosures or in shop or building or whatever. No, they may be in open, and theft can happen where any none of forcible entry is observed. So that losses are also payable, and 25% of the claim amount subject to a minimum of 75,000 is then marine excess clause. See, in first part of the policy, when about materials are procured and if they are damaged, it is 0.25% of the consignment value subject to a minimum of 10,000. This is the excess clause which is governing the marine section. Then D4, the exclusion which we right now have discussed, it has got excess clause of 5% of the claim amount subject to a minimum of 7,50,000 rupees. So D4 excess clause, I must say, it is one of the biggest in any project, and it is very difficult for a surveyor even to identify which part has failed or which was having a defect prior to. So for that purpose, you have to go through all the communication with the manufacturer, suppliers. You have to go through all the things, I mean, in their logbooks, what they have written, in their records of stock keeping, what they have written, whether they have received it in damaged condition or it was having some manufacturing defect like kinks or whatever. So these are all written and recorded in their records. We have to spare a little bit extra time to find out whether any part was earlier been supplied in damaged condition or having some manufacturing defect, like any what you say, whenever two metals are being joined, that is that portion is not having that much of tensile strength in what you say, in tower parts, tower members. So we have got to see all these things, and here I would also like to say that we have got to see the things very minutely, and sometimes you have got to take the help of experts also, just to find it out that whether any failure of part has happened, if it has happened, why it has happened, what was the reason behind its failure, was it improperly been fixed, that is bad workmanship was there or whatever. So these all we have to be in, having a big number of questions with us to ask them how a thing has to be constructed or erected, then what are the most probable reasons which are uh, 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 faced by them, which render that particular part rejected by them. So all these things we have got to arrive at and conclude that whether a particular portion of any particular machinery has had the defect before it was shipped to them. So this is how we have got to. Well, it is a little bit very tedious claim most of the times. Whenever the person who is executing the work, the firm which is executing the work, a contractor, I would say, that if they are declaring that this is defective part of a surveyor has got to uh, consider that. But on the contrary, you can cross check it. So this is what D for excess and D is for exclusion is. Then here comes terrorism excess. This is 5% of the claim amount subject to a minimum of 1 lakh rupees. Any loss which is attributed to terrorism, loss or damage to the property which is insured, if it is being damaged by terrorism act with political motive, it will be governed by this deduction. Means this is the necessary deduction the client has to bear. Then again comes the important it is testing excess. It is again 5% of the claim amount subject to a minimum of 1,50,000. And like in previous session, I had described that what testing is. There are two types of testing. One is hot testing and another is normal testing. Normal testing is whenever everything is being seen just without passing on any current. Whereas live testing is passing on the full load of electricity in case of transmission line, and maybe trying to maybe trying to run the machinery. Hello. Yes. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
audible.
So, yeah. Again, this testing access is definitely pertaining to whenever project is completed, maybe erection of any machinery in any particular site, or maybe testing of live load, testing of transmission lines, or maybe somewhat like that. People, they give a contract to one person to bring the material to construct a building, then install machinery and all. So whenever that testing, that is load testing, like if somebody has installed a mega press, hydraulic press, so they give it a test of maximum load, maximum PSI, what you say, the pressure on which it can work. And if while doing such kind of test, if any loss is occurring, then minimum 1,50,000 is the excess class, and if it is beyond that, 5% of the claim amount we have got to deduct. Now, here it is first of the case study today. I'm going to take. It is stockyard of one company where they are planning to lay strum and fabricate the towers. And if you see these rolls, these are ACSR moose conductor. This is cable. So they are received in damaged conditions. So after when these were opened, and these are the insulators which were also damaged. Okay, so since our policy had cutting clause also attached in it, that means if this roll was damaged outwardly, and it may be that this layer from this end to this end, maybe 100 meters, maybe 200 meters, whatever was damaged, it would be cut, and only our loss will be confined to 200 meters or 100 meters, whatever was damaged. Uh, and again, marine excess, as I have told, minimum 10,000 rupees we had to deduct. And then, yes, what was the cause of loss in this? It was because of the jerks and jolt and roots, because it is ICCA class, ICCA uh, type of coverage has been given in this policy. So it is all risk policy, and it is very much payable after deducting minimum of the excess clause. Now here, these are the channels or the members of the uh, tower. These also came, and they were also in another confinement. They were also damaged. Okay, like if you see here, they are bent, and you cannot rectify them by hammering or whatever, because it has to uh, hold the load of such big tower itself, and thereafter it has to take care of the load of the strung wire, which is again in tons. So it is rejected, and whatever was the damage, like one, this was having somewhere around 70,000 per ton. Likewise, whatever its weight was, that was deducted less salvage value. Then again, this is what we did in. And this was a project of more than two 1,000 crore rupees of policy was issued for 3 years. Fine. So until unless it was, and then 1 year was the testing period, which was granted to this client, and the client was the Power Grid of India. So all these losses, since these members were rendered unserviceable, and they were demanding whole of the tower, which was constituting for around more than 6 crore rupees, which for which we did not agree. We requested them to, and this alloy was shaped in by L&T people. So we talked with them, and thereafter it was resolved in next shipment. All the members which were damaged, they were around 8 or 9 in numbers. They sent it, because every part, this is the numbered part, and every tower has say, if it has 150 members, every member has its own serial number, its own specification printed on it, and all those specifications were sent to them, and they have supplied the parts in next consignment, because it was a very big, around I guess 700 kilometer plus was the running length of the line, and it was from Salal project in J&K to Vagura, Kashmir. So all that area was covered by these people, and they had to install several towers and several. They have to. It was 400 kVA double conductor. It was having every phase was having double conductors. Means it was having two. In next coming photographs, I'll show you. So all this is what marine loss was. It was because of jerk or jolt, maybe whatever the reason was. They were damaged and they were unfit, because they were unable to be fit in where they had to fit, and that way the whole of the structure would be compromised and would have collapsed when the stringing of wire would have been taken place. So now again, this is, you can see how they have stacked it in the open, and this is the marine loss. And for members, I was there. But now let us assume that somebody steals or takes away or steals these members and sells it as a scrap to scrap dealer or whatever. They again can claim, because there is no boundary, and since they have covered theft, and theft is there is no forcible entry because it is lying in open. So that way you cannot question that you have to keep it under lock and key, because that is not written in the policy. And whenever mega projects are there, these mega projects are definitely uh, made in open, and there is no boundary or barricading or any enclosure kind of thing where they can. Yes, they do make enclosures for only gelatin sticks at projects to that is explosive, so that it is not misused by miscreants or whatever. So that is the only thing which is kept under lock and key. Rest all the material is stored in open, and you can see this is one member, this one is another member, this one is another member, and there are more than 1500 members which are assembled together with the nut and bolts. And these are made up of alloy, and they have been specially treated that there is no formation of rust on it, and that is why it is so expensive. It is more than double the cost of ordinary channels or this. So, brothers, whenever you encounter any loss which is caused by thieves, by stealing away, so you have got to pay. Even I have paid some losses where thieves have cut the live wire and then have taken it away. And that was a really very interesting case. I'll talk. Now, here, this is what I was saying, double conductor. You see one phase having this one conductor, another conductor, then second phase having another. So this is 400 kVA double conductor DC transmission line, because you all know that DC electricity is having more power than alternate current. So it is sent because the loss during transmission is there. So to contain that, they try to send it in this format nowadays. Fine. Now you see, this is the kacha road they have made to take and this is the line. Now I would say this is another line. This is state's line, and this is the line which is going to the national grid of India. So you see it is going, one tower is this, another tower is here, third one is here, and fourth one is here, and it is having a quite long span. And as I have told that if I allow them to use the damaged member, excuse me, if I would have allowed them to use the damaged member by tinkering or by heating it, its tensile strength or its metallurgical properties would have been compromised. And definitely, when that compromise is there, the because of the weight of the wires, ACS or moose conductor, uh, the same would have bent or would have gave away, and it would have given a quite big sort of what you say, a very big kind of jolt, and would have that jolt would have traveled to other uh, towers also. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 towers ahead and 2 or 3 on the backside from the main tower. So this is how you cannot compromise, because you can save on one member, but that one member may cost catastrophic loss to the insurance company. So you have got to be very careful about this. And secondly, whenever any live wire is falling underneath, it is hazard for humans, for the livestock or whatever. So we have got to take good care of this thing. We instead of saving on penny, it is better to save on the pounds. This is what I would request. Now here I come to another. This is case study, another same line on another place, and it has happened because of uh, subsidence of land, because this land where they were constructing it is prone to subsidence because of loose soil structure of the hillocks and hills, and all that thing has happened, and it has happened almost 2 kilometers away from the main what you call tower which was affected, and here from here it started. Fine. Now I'll take you to another. This is the tower. This was the affected area, and here it has started from here. It has traveled right down up to this, and you can see what is the difference, what is the distance rather, from this place up to this place. So here in this, you will see, you can see the gigantic uh, cracks on the foundation work, and will you believe, because of that subsidence, our main tower, it has shifted from one leg around 3 centimeters to one side, and for that matter, what has happened? It has swayed, it has tilted the minimum three, what you call, towers. Three pillar towers were tilted, and thereby they have to unstrung, then they have to replace, and you can see from here a very minor, you can see bend is evident from here of because of happening because of tilting. And once it is tilted, you cannot do it, because most of the times half of the structure is constructed, and rest half of the this DD2 type of tower. These towers were named DD2 type of towers. Half of the tower is constructed at their base camp, and then is flown to this place with the help of helicopter, and then they screw it with the main structure, which they have done manually. Uh, so this is, now you see here, it is saying the story of tilting of the. So they have tried to redo on this. They have tried to rectify the foundation, and thereafter tilting has happened from upside and one leg, and they will strengthen. I was told that they are going to dismantle it, and they will try to rectify the leg. And thereafter, what did they do? They have made extra uh, bedding here. A platform was made, maybe 15 feet by 20 feet on this corner, so that strengthened, and then cantilevers were given underneath it, and it was raised with the help of pillar, and thereafter all the members which were damaged, they were replaced one by one, and thereafter the claim was settled by us. Fine. And you can see here, this is the gap. You can see this gap is evident because of subsidence of land. You can see how the tilting of this would have been. Then here, since we have covered the stone masonry also, masonry work also means civil construction work also we have covered. So this loss was also paid, and they have to rectify the design. So we cannot say it is design failure, but it was a subsidence prone area where that design, which was conventional design, it did not last. It did not. Then we have agreed for giving cantilevers underneath it, and a pad which with RCC mortar and everything, so that it will be strengthened. If any time, next time any subsidence is occurring, it is not affecting the pillar. So all that loss which has constituted, maybe whatever the quantum was, that was paid. And with the whole of this, means this padding was made from here, and cantilevers were given. Uh, so all these construction work plus loss to this unstringing from this tower to this tower, and from this tower to another tower. So unstringing of the wire was allowed, then restringing it was allowed, and while doing so, There were certain other losses while opening. Their insulator were broken because one fell down, and then there are certain things which were again had to be, because they don't use any nut again, and one nut cost somewhere around 2000 rupees. So all those losses were calculated minutely, very meticulously, and then were paid. So you see, it is the sliding area. This is what I mean to say. This is where we have reached, which I have shown you. It was quite far off place, but this crevice, it was moving from that other side of the mountain, and it was ending up at the, what do you call, tower, where we have assets a lot. I don't remember. I think it was section 144 by 1, uh, where the loss has occurred. So this is subsidence of land, which was triggered maybe because of incessant rains, because you can see the moisture still is there, or maybe because of some other reason, because of erosion of uh, the foothill, and thereafter triggering this subsidence. Then now I come to this. I'm sorry, because all these losses, where whenever we go to you are almost exhausted. You cannot reach to absolute that place where the loss has actually happened because of your own constraints, because you living in cities and not doing much exercise and all. So this was the thing where I have told you that this is theft of ACSR moose conductor from the live line. This was live, given testing. It was undergoing testing, and thieves have scaled up this tower, and they have cut the moose conductors. I don't know how, but it was definitely a very high profile kind of theft case, which even DGP of J&K was involved, because he was also saying that 400 kVA double conductor DC line, and it simply attracts a person because of its magnetic field. So how that gentleman would have done. So I don't know, because thereafter I didn't follow that whether they have caught hold of thieves or not. But this was around all the 8 or 9 wires they have cut, and they have taken away. And total, it was more than 9 kilometers into 8. So you can understand, and 1 kilometer of ACSR moose conductor, 24 by 7, 24 by 7 or 8. 8 strands was of strands of that ACSR moose conductor were of steel for strengthening it, and rest were of aluminum. So 54 strands total, I guess, were there. And I had a fake idea right now, very bleak idea that how much, but definitely it was even thicker than my biceps, you know. So this is how loss has occurred live, and since this is theft, no doubt about it, but it has occurred in uh, testing period. So testing access clause was applied to it, and thereafter, since they were doing, definitely uh, there was no design defect or material defect was observed after going through their record. So we had to take it into this theft of ACSR moose conductor in testing period, and likewise the corresponding access clause was deducted. Now, it is one of the, it is old case. This case was inspected by us when a pharmaceutical company was being set up in J&K, and it was a fluid bed dryer, 200 liter capacity. and it was for the making the granules of Bournvita like substance. Um, Means they were shaking it, trying it, passing steam into it, so that granulation of powder is being made. And they have given a testing to it, and definitely there was a big explosion, and one attendant of the this client, he died while they were testing it because there was no dissipation, proper dissipation of fumes or dust clouds was there when they were hot, because they were in contact of steam and everything. When they came in contact of steam once more, when they came out of it and there was a cloud kind of thing, so it caught fire. But in my opinion, the explosion has occurred not because of that. It has occurred because of the frictional force of the granuled particles, which were moving in centrifugal force. They collided with each other, they produced spark, and thereafter that dust cloud that caught fire, and there was a big bang, and one person was perished in it, and definitely that was the loss which we paid to the not only to this fluid bed dryer machine, but also to other accessories of it, steam lining, then sealing, and all the things. And beside that, we paid a loss of, I guess, around 15 lakhs to the person who died in this accident, because that contractor has taken this marine come erection policy with loss to third party. In third party liability, he also got covered. So in that section, we have given that, because the person who died was not direct employee of the contractor, but he was employee of the owner of the factory who has given contract to them, and that way he was showing them how it works and when it exploded. And since he was standing in the bulletproof chamber where that gentleman who died, he would have been standing beside him, but I don't know why he had gone there. It blasted, and thereafter we paid not only third party loss, we also paid the other losses which have occurred, including all the freights and everything, and all the reinstatement value clause was to the tune of 25%. We paid escalation also, but we had to take care of one major aspect, that was adequacy of the sum insured, which we have taken at the date and place of loss. Means all the mm, incidental expenses like freight, duty, octroi, whatever was there, plus cost of the machine, plus insurance, plus freight, everything was calculated, and thereafter certain deductions as per testing period class were made, and thereafter the claim was paid. And loss, rather the deceased, was given compensation in other uh, section, that is third party liability section. And this was also enormous loss, because all the supply lines of electricity, all the steam lines, all the another civil work, civil structure were damaged, doors were damaged, and certain more things has happened, like all of their fuses were blown up, and explosion was so much big that two walls were collapsed, and all these things, and its ceiling was damaged. So all these things were made, and this was the insurance was affected from Pune office of I guess Oriental Insurance Company. So you see, it is because of explosion, all these things you can see what has happened. So this was unserviceable, and it had to be. And after explosion, there was fire also. So all we have paid this loss. Then here I would request my friends that it is not only that originating fire should be from some source, and but that source can be the process involved. Like here, you see the centrifugal force and the granules. They were charged electrically. They produced electricity. The dust already produced was in contact with steam. You know, you can boil water up to 100 degrees centigrade, but you can heat up the steam to any degree. So that way, atmosphere was congenial for a blast, and granules, when it was given testing by them at full speed, so they created a spark, and that spark was definitely uh, ignited the dust clouds. Then that has happened. Now, I would take you back to one more. You see, you see here why I have allowed bedding and cantilevers, because this line coming from this, you can see this is the subsidence area and it is coming to this point. It may aggravate in next summer or next monsoon or next rainfall or downpour. So I requested them to refortify, not with stones. I told them to use the stone at some other location, but here they should go for RCC wall. And but before that, they should give bedding to this. And before giving bedding, they have to lift this leg of the tower with the help of uh, jacks, so that it comes at level, and thereafter construct bedding beneath it so that there is no subsidence. And after making that in RCC with the reinforcement of all the tall steel, whatever is required after getting it designed only, then it was made. So, brothers, this is how things do happen. So here it may be, I could have said that yes, it is uh, defect in design, or maybe defect. No, it is not defect in design. It is definitely this crack has happened only because of subsidence, which you can see from here. You can see this is the crack and it is coming down here. So it was on the edge of the hill, and that is why it required reinforcement, and that is why it was taken care of. So there is one more kind of loss in towers, especially. That is whenever its earthing is grounded because of some reason at defect at their where they are generating the power. So in that case, it is none of the problem of the client. So that way, that is the grid problem, which is always belonging to NHPC or whatever, because of their problem, because uh, that bus bars and everything, whatever is provided, that is provided by them. They have to carry electricity from once it is produced, and thereafter they have to carry it to the desired location. So if anything is happening at the beginning point, and that point is not belonging to the insured of ours, which is the most of the times contractor, and if that is only because of the mishandling by the rather owner of the project. It may be state government or maybe any board or any corporation. So they are held responsible, not our client. So we have got to pay any losses occurring thereafter in the that will come in the ambit of our policy under which we are seeing the loss, that is marine income erection policy. So this is how most of the things do happen. So this is all for today. Thank you all for being so much patient hearing of yours. And now I would request Mr. Uh, Sachinji to.
Thank you, Manchanda-ji, for this wonderful session as usual. Now I request participant to can raise their hand so that we will give you chance to ask the question. We will taking only 5 questions. Members are requested to they can raise their hand.
Sir, we have only one question written. Shall we take it first?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can take it.
There is a question from Mr. Law Patel. Doubts on cutting clause. In case of first slide, roll moves, conductor's roll. The point is that the specific order is placed for 2 kilometer length of conductor. In case of horizontal cut, maximum length usable comes out of 400 meters. Principal reject use of 400 meters. Shall the cutting clause shall be applicable?
Just hold on, brother. Just hold on. Let me use this Bluetooth because I couldn't hear. Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you repeat the question once more, please?
The question is big one. Doubts on cutting clause. In case of first slide,
Okay.
roll moves, conductor's roll. The point is
Okay.
that the specific order is placed for 2 kilometer length of conductor. Okay. In case of
Okay.
horizontal cut, maximum length usable comes out only 400 meters. Now principal reject this use of 400 meters. Still cutting clause shall be applicable?
In fact, I would say that cutting clause says whatever is unserviceable, which you cannot use because it can cause you enormous loss, like damage or short circuiting of whole of the line, or even it is transferred to grids or damaging the grids, which are very expensive. So if all the things, if cutting clause, if as per you, if it is 400 meters, please give him 400 meters. If it is being rejected by them, ask them the reasons, because if cutting clause is there, it means they have to use rest of the wire. Because it is not only cutting clause, there is set pair and set clause also. That way I have told in earlier first portion of this webinar earlier 3 weeks back, that if any pair is serviced and one is damaged, we cannot give claim of both of the parts of the pair. We have to give only one half of the pair we have got to do. So anything which is mentioned in the policy, we have to see. Now Mr. Patel is asking us horizontal cut or vertical cut. You see, whenever it is a roll, if it is a vertical cut, definitely it will be happening only to one what you say circle of the rope. But if it is a horizontal, it can cut all the circles of the layer on that reel. or the spool. So that way it is a person who is attending class, he has got to see, and if that is becoming 400 meters, he has to give 400 meters. Another one more spool means another 100 meters you can add up, because it may have that cut have reached until there, or while opening or doing all that or cutting it, and there may be a kink in it, or a little bit of opening is there, and opening or loosening of the conductor is there, which may become a hotspot. So you can, it depends on your wisdom, sir. I hope I replied well, Mr. Patel.
Yes. So now we have next question, Mr. Ramamurthy.
Okay.
Mr. Ramamurthy, you can unmute and I think Mr. Murthy is not there. Rakesh Dubey. Mr. Naveen Jain.
Friends, you have to unmute yourself to speak the question.
ये जो सब्सिडेंस का फोटो दिखाया था ना,
हाँ जी,
हेलो,
हाँ जी,
Yes, Naveen sir.
सब्सिडेंस में तो गड्ढा सा होना चाहिए ना, जमीन नीचे धसेगी ना, इसमें गड्ढा सा तो दिखा नहीं, कुछ लेवल कम हुआ था क्या कहीं पे?
भाई साहब मैं पहाड़ पे था, ये देखिए आप, पहले इस फोटोग्राफ को देखिए, उसके बाद यहाँ देखिए, यहाँ पे ये एरो दिख रहा है आपको, यहाँ पे गड्ढा ही तो दिखाया है.
हाँ,
It is subsidence is not not only gadda, it is also splitting apart of hillside, जो कि बाद में rock slide बन जाती है. ओके, आप ये देखिए, यहाँ पे देखिए, ये लाइन जा रही है ना ऊपर तक. ओके, अब जब एक दफा दो दफा बारिशें आएंगी, इट विल कट, बिकॉज पानी जो है यहाँ से बहेगा, और ये जो पोर्शन है नीचे 1 किलोमीटर खाई है, वो वहां पे ये रॉक स्लाइड बन के चली जाएगी. बट पहाड़ों में या सब्सिडेंस इज, आप देखिए लेवल को, अब ये उबड़ खाबड़ आपको लेवल तो दिख रहा है, तो यहाँ पे खड्डा होगा या नहीं होगा, बट स्प्लिटिंग अपार्ट जरूर होगी. ये आप देख रहे हैं, यहाँ से तो गिर चुकी है, यहाँ से गिर जाएगी और साल के बाद. ओके, बोलिए.
नहीं, आपने दूसरा फोटो दिखाया था, एक पत्थर की बाउंड्री वॉल का था ना, जिसमें वो,
बोलिए.
उसमें कहीं लेवल कम हुआ था क्या, कहीं ऊपर नीचे हुआ था क्या लेवल कहीं?
ब्रदर आप देखिए, ये नीचे से यहाँ से ठीक है, ये क्रैक आया है, इसमें क्रैक आप देख रहे हैं 3 इंच 4 इंच का क्रैक है, और यहाँ से आप बाउंड्री को देख रहे हैं, ये इस कॉर्नर से ये नीचे की तरफ गई है, ये एक क्रैक ये दिख रहा है, और आप ये देखिए, ये टेढ़ापन आपको दिख ही रहा होगा. तो दिस इज बिकॉज ऑफ सब्सिडेंस ऑफ लैंड. ये आ गया जो इस पहाड़ी तक ये जा रहा है. आप एक गड्ढे की बात कर रहे हो, यहाँ तो पूरी लकीर है जो सब्सिडेंस, जो जमीन दिखी है. ठीक है, ठीक है.
Okay, Mr. Machandra, I think you answered the question. We will go further. Mr. Rakesh Dubey, are you there? Okay, Mr. Mohan Chandran. Remember, you have to unmute yourself and then ask the question.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir, you talked about the retaining wall of the foundation. In that case, you told that retaining wall cracks can be filled and to go away with the construction work. But in our practice, so in such cases, we demolish that particular area for a considerable length and then construct it. Of course, this is against the principles of insurance, but we have to retain the practical aspect of it. Question number one. Question number two is about the tower. Tower, you said that one part of the tower, but is it possible to do one part of the tower itself? Because we have to take out both sides of the tower and then all the members has to be dismantled and then re-erect it. Otherwise, it will not stand the stresses.
Have you heard
Ingom-
one thing, sir? I said half of the tower is man-made and half of the tower is assembled at the base and is picked up by a helicopter and then is fixed and with the nuts and bolts. I guess I will share one what you call YouTube link also with you all. After searching it, you can see how these are made. You see, you are right, but you know one thing, if we are removing one member after seeing whether it is going to compromise or collapse of whole of the structure is there or not, but definitely they are in zigzag manner, and alternatively you can change one member or other. Yes, what is very difficult to change is that is the lug, that is the foundation where from that lug the fabrication of whole of the tower is made. If that is damaged because of some reason, like some rock slide that is hitting and is damaging that lug also, then you have to abandon that place, you have to shift that tower to some other place. Number one. Number two, you have said that you do about principle of insurance, you talked about, and you will give only this portion of the okay, this is what you said, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now
Yes, sir.
now I say, sir, you are living in plain area, and that is possible there, and this loss has occurred above 5,000 feet of sea level on the hills. And if any of the tower is tilted, it may damage at least considerable length of other towers, and thereafter, ACSR moves conductor as well as the tower pass, they will be declared a total loss. So that is why we have to safeguard the property from being happening same sort of loss in future. For that matter, I have given them, if you have gone through it, gone through my deliberation very meticulously, I said that I have given 15 by say 10 or 20 feet of bedding here and cantilevers under it, so that there is no further damage in coming years. So this is how you have to curtail the losses.
Okay, sir.
And what was the first portion of your question, sir? So
Hello?
what was the first portion? What was the first portion of the question of yours, sir?
What is the first portion that about the construction of civil structure, about the retaining wall, about the foundation on all around it? You said that crack filling and everything, that is not a practical solution. I don't think so, but I don't know what about the practice you are following. In our case, we demolish all the area from one end to other end.
Where you live, sir?
I am from Kerala state, sir. Kerala
Fine,
state.
sir. Okay, I am from J&K state.
Where?
I am from
Pardon,
J&K state.
Okay,
I am from
okay.
J&K state.
Okay,
So,
okay, sir.
geographical areas do matter a lot. A practice at your place, there may be hull insurance of houseboats at your area also.
Okay, okay. All insurance of houseboat is there, sir. Lot of houseboats are there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome,
Yes,
sir.
thank you,
Welcome.
Mr. Manchanda. We will be taking Mr. Last question. Maybe Mr. Bharat Shah is asking. Mr. Bharat Shah is there. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. So Mr. Bharat Shah is asking.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Yes, Mr.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Bharat Shah.
Sir, you have given you have given one example of a dryer. In that case, you have told that the granulars hitting each other and that explosion occurred. But that design aspect, we should not shake, sir, because everything that shaking and then hitting each other and making smoke, it is a part of design also. No? Design and the safety factor of safety should be there. So this is a normal process in dryer happening. And in spite of this, suppose some explosion is occurred, so there
Hmm.
should be some design failure. We can say that. Hello.
Yes, here I come. This is really very good question. Here DE4 exclusion comes. This is what I expected. Somebody should ask me. Here, you know what has happened? This dryer, which is rotating and a centrifugal force is coming, and
Yes, yes.
they are doing it, and it may be having some defect in its design, maybe because of unnecessary, maybe
Load.
some sort of what you call coarse surface in it, maybe some other, or maybe dented while it has come from the manufacturer. So
Mm.
since I was having this policy, okay, what did I do? I paid everything, but I did not pay this dryer because
Dryer.
of DE4 exclusion, right? Yeah,
Okay, sir.
because
Thank you, sir.
I could not prove here that design failure is there or maybe there. It was simply I conveyed them. It has happened only because of this. This is my opinion, and this is your policy, and this is DE4, which it reads that any defective part, if it is contributing and concurrently other losses are happening, those are paid. Those are to be paid. I'm going to pay all those losses, but I'm not going to pay loss of
For
this
dryer.
fluidic
Okay.
dryer, fluid double dryer. This is what question I was expecting. In fact, thank you very much for asking me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Bharat ji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Manchanda ji.
You're welcome.
We'll take,
Sir, there is a
one
small
more.
question I can see here. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Samir.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. C.A. Narinder Garg has asked a question. Sir, in small theft case, is there any exclusion applicable?
What again? Please repeat it. For small.
For
Hello.
small theft case, is there any exclusion applicable?
No, exclusion is not there. Only excess is there, which is 25% of the claim amount, subject to a maximum of, I think, 75,000, I guess. So that is even if small loss is within 75,000, which is the minimum or whatever is the excess class. So we don't have to pay that. And if it is beyond that, we have to deduct 75,000 or whatever is the clause written in the policy, and then we have to pay the rest of the things.
Nice, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
So thank you all the participants. Thank you, Mr. Manchanda, for this very knowledgeable session.
Thank you, sir. You're
Members,
welcome.
tomorrow we will be conducting webinar, 40th webinar on the CPM case studies by Mr. M.S. Sainani. It will be started at 11 o'clock. So you are requested to register and you join us at 11 o'clock. Thank you all the participants. Thank you all the panelists. Thank you, Mr. Manchanda ji. Thank you, Mr. Samir Joshi. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Good
Thank
night.
you, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night.